I became a multimillionaire, and I wasn't born rich. That's a story that you can find in another one of my videos, so I won't cover it here. But just know that I had to find my way myself, and I know you can do it too. No matter what you're trying to achieve, like me, the only thing that you need to do is to stop being a freaking mess. I was a very average kid from a very average family. We had a very modest home, and my family finances weren't the best. The family had taken several credit card loans. These loans had very high interest, and as a result, we were constantly in debt and having to work really hard just to pay off the crazy interest. As the oldest kid, I had to figure out how to make money fast. The problem was, I was a freaking mess. I knew I had to do something, but how and what? There were so many things on my plate growing up. I had to do well in school, I had to figure out life, and then there were distractions like games and going out to hang out with my friends and playing sports. Well, I'm sure you have a lot of things on your plate too, but don't let another year go past just like that. You promised yourself that this is the year of change. You would work on yourself, reaching your goals, and get the life you always wanted, right? I'm sure you've done it before. One day in your life, you got up and wanted to make a change in your life. I know you took out your notebook and pen, your computer, your iPad, and started to work on your plans. You are excited and full of enthusiasm, and you had all these grand visions of what you will achieve. But after an entire day and watching 140 social media videos later, you found yourself in the same spot with no progress to show. Look, everyone wants to get fit, to get rich, to have a successful business, but we know the reality. Very few people do. The reason why is that they are a freaking mess. It's not their fault, it's because we don't know any better. And society bombards us with stimuli and options that prevent us from reaching our full potential. The solution is simple. We need to stop being a freaking mess. Because this is the only way we can hope to get anything great done. The key to all this lies in what we do with our brains. Specifically, the ability that we are looking for is the ability to focus. We need to develop the ability to obsess and only work on one particular task at a time for hours and days and weeks on end. So how do we develop this focus? I'll share 3 steps with you that can change your life forever if you choose to take action and commit to them. The first part, what an 8-figure entrepreneur taught me when I was 22 years old. When I was first starting to grow my business, I was facing a lot of problems increasing revenue and getting more customers. I asked someone wise for help, and the first thing they asked was what I was working on. I proudly talked about the entire list of things that I wanted to work on, to fix, and to build. When he heard this, he said he knew my problem. I was too distracted with too many things on my plate. I needed to be focused with a clear set of priorities. In order to be focused, we can't be paying attention to multiple things. This doesn't just apply to business, it applies to everything that we do. And modern society only makes this worse because there's so much stimuli around us. Even watching this video, I bet you're already looking at another tab, checking your phone, and thinking about what to eat later. And this is a catastrophe. You're training your brain to crave for stimulation. If you don't believe me, just try switching off your phone for 24 hours. I bet you won't be able to do it. You're addicted to stimulation. Don't blame yourself though. It's a basic human psychological need, and our modern lives are completely filled with stimulation. Thankfully, we can wean ourselves off this and fix the problem. The first step, with everything that we do, we need to track and measure things. The first thing that we need to measure is what the heck are we doing in our day. This is going to be a simple exercise that you'll do for an entire week, all 7 days. To do this, just prepare a notebook or your notebook app and start taking note of all the things that you're doing. If you're reaching for your phone to play a game, note it down. If you're doom scrolling, note down the time and how long you're doing it for. If you're watching Netflix or other mindless videos, note that down too. At the end of the week, you will have good data. Data that shows you what the heck you're actually spending time on. I don't think I have to tell you what to do with this data. If you see a disturbing trend of you spending hours on something useless and meaningless that doesn't help you move yourself towards your goals, then cut it out. Literally put measures in place so that you don't do it. Delete apps off your phone, lock your phone up, put on airplane mode, silent notifications. There are a ton of measures to take. We just have to commit to them. You have nothing to lose. Go try it out and do what's necessary. The second part, harnessing the power of your brain. It's hard to make progress if you don't know what the destination is. If you don't know what your goals are, it's impossible to know what you have to do. This is why you're often left confused, and it's a state that will trap many people. Confusion is so dangerous because it causes people to never start on anything, to work on the wrong thing for many years of their lives, or to be continually stuck in a start-stop loop. You need to get out of this state fast. When you do, you will experience a flow state that will unlock tremendous levels of productivity and performance. If you've ever been obsessed about anything before, you'd have experienced this. In the flow state, we are so engrossed in our tasks that time just seems to zip by. When I was addicted to video games as a teenager, I was continually in the flow state. I was immersed in my video games and nothing else mattered. I didn't sleep, I didn't eat, I didn't even go to the toilet. The flow state can occur whether it's for fun or for work. So we have to figure out how to invoke this state to make progress on something that matters. That's why people always say that we have to work on something that we are passionate about. The person who is passionate and obsessed about his work will get into flow state than someone who isn't. To get started, I will take time out to think and only think. No distractions, no electronics, just pen and paper and your thoughts. Do this for some significant amount of time. You'll probably find yourself getting bored, but that's a great thing. Boredom is one of the best states to be in for creativity and constructive thoughts to happen. When you do this, you will find that it focuses the brain because there's no other distractions. You will then be able to craft a plan for yourself with clear goals and the steps needed for you to get there. Once you have this plan, commit to it and take action every day, no matter how small. The third part, getting the inputs right. It boggles my mind that people care about the fuel they put into their cars, but not what they put into their bodies. Our bodies are like any system. What we put in affects what we get out. Inputs for our bodies are things like sleep, fitness, and food. These inputs affect us directly and significantly. Just try sleeping for just 2 hours tonight and see how you feel tomorrow. Imagine how that will be if you do that for a week. Now imagine how impaired you must be if you aren't getting adequate sleep for a prolonged period of time. This is the same exact thing with food as well. If we don't have a good enough diet that gives us the micronutrients and macronutrients that are good for us, we can't expect our bodies and brains to perform at their best. And next, fitness. It's not that we need to have six-pack abs, though it's a great benefit, but our bodies need to be active in order to perform at their full potential. It's the same with everything in life. Stop using anything and it will break down eventually, whether it's your shoes, clothes, devices, cars, whatever. The same thing goes for our bodies as well. We need to stress and increase demands on our bodies, and then our bodies will grow to be fitter, stronger, and more capable. The problem with inputs these days is that most people default to the cheapest, tastiest, and most convenient options. Again, it isn't our fault. Society has made these terrible input options to be the easiest for us to access. Think about it. Our sleep is deprived because we stay up playing games, watching videos, or scrolling social media on our phones. Our diet is terrible because our diet is highly processed, cheap, tasty, but not nutritious nor healthy. We stop being active because modern lifestyles are largely sedentary in nature and removes a lot of physical demands from our bodies. We're always on comfortable chairs and it's so convenient to get into a car or get our food delivered. If we want to make sure that we can perform well, all this has to change. We all know what's good for us, but we have to actively make the decision to do the right things. Sleep well, eat the right foods, start becoming active, and exercise. These are the 3 steps I have for you. Do these 3 steps and the great things that you're looking to achieve will come so much easier and you stop being a freaking mess.